In a world that's evolving faster than ever, this is a space for ideas, knowledge, and connection. Here we exchange insights and perspectives with respect and curiosity, navigating the digital age together. From the mind to the machine, from the human to the future, we're here to explore the boundaries of innovation, creativity, and learning. Welcome to the journey.
All right, let's go. I It's always something left behind, eh? So yeah, I'm gonna record standing up today because Jesus Christ, man, my lower back is just killing me. I went to central London today to see a good friend from childhood, and it's really good when we meet people from childhood, because it brings you a lot of memories. Obviously, it makes your mind recover some data. Sometimes you even gain data again because some people, I forget a lot, and I'm sure a lot of other people also forget things. We tend to remember certain things. Yeah, apparently normally when you had something that helped marking the moment. Yeah. So, but yeah, and the funny thing, what I wanted to talk about today is that funny thing, this guy, we studied together from childhood, and we played basketball together from early years as well. And funny thing is that it's the old story that whoever hits forgets, and who gets hit remembers, or something like that, eh? And yeah, that's something I was thinking about, because he mentions some things that I didn't know affected him that much, because I was a guy that I suffered a lot of bullying, not only among friends because it was normal, but also kind of, inside my house in some ways. And yeah, that made me think again. So I spoke to him, I apologized. I said, hey, man, I'm sorry if I ever did something, because with him, I only had the good memories. I remembered, if I had to dig deep, I would remember that one time we had an argument, and which was really silly because he's taller than me, quite, considerably taller. But yeah, I was a little bit more, and so yeah, he mentioned that moment today in our meeting. We spent like 5 or 6 hours together. He mentioned that like quite a few times, and I say, hey, man, fucking, hey, I'm sorry. I remember that time, but compared to all the good things we have lived, that's one thing that I used when I remembered, I laughed about it, because I was like, man, we were kids and we had an argument, but we still, after that, we spoke and we played together and we were mates. But I never knew that, again, because you don't see it through the others people's eyes, so you end up not feeling it, eh? We say in Portuguese, what the eyes don't see, the heart doesn't feel. But because I was bullied quite a bit, and I always try to, play the funny one, it got to a moment that I used to bully myself. What else we gonna do? I was the smallest from all. I was the shortest, like they used to make jokes like, oh, my mom called you if you want to come to our house this weekend. And then I would go like, what's going on? Is that a party or a barbecue? And they would go like, nah, she wants you to clean the aquarium, and when we used to cross the streets, they used to hold my hand, and I was like, "What the fuck is that?" And, obviously after some time, I understood already when they held my hand, but they used to. And I was like, "What the fuck is that?" And it's like, "No, it's just to help you to go up in the stairs." So among those, I had like a lot of funny nicknames, and yeah, they used to play with me because we imagine we played basketball, yeah, and I was the shortest, yeah. So I couldn't hit the board. I could not even on the kids one, I couldn't dunk, not even on the kids one. And most of them could, like on the kids especially, but yeah, we didn't have many dunkers. I think Serpa was the only one, but they could always, touch the net or touch the board, the glass, how we say, I think. And when I started, it was a board. Yeah, sorry, I remember when they start to have the glass. Yeah, but yeah, so and then I was thinking because today I had uh, through my studies, I came up to this video talking a little bit about some of the hypotheses and the theories that Carl Jung had it and stated, and I kind of linked a little bit with what happened today because here he talks that some people go through things in life as part of their development. That's what Young said. And he has a bit of, as far as I can understand, correct me if I'm wrong, if you know more than I, but I can see that he has a little bit of a religious view as well, together with his psychology. He also defends that addictions, they were they are also part of the journey of one's life, And I am someone, whoever watches my video knows that I'm someone that has been addicted. I can say basically since I was 13. I was already, consuming cigarettes, alcohol, weed, and eventually 15. I was already on other drugs. So for me, it was nice to understand, especially nowadays, that I have, stopped drinking, changed all my feeding habits. I'm still, whoever again watches me knows that I am dealing with the weed, but instead of oh fuck, my lower back, man. Instead of take all this shit that they are giving me, I'm trying to, yeah, balance it up. But however, after seeing some other neuroscientists, and because now we have data so there, like so in front of us, that you only don't get it if you don't want it, right? And so what I was saying about this neuroscience, where our neuroplasticity, yeah, our brain can still create different path, and uh, and then I sorry, I got lost on my speech, but yeah, just coming back to it. So uh, by I like to watch these podcasts, interviews, and then I read a bit of the journals, and especially on psychology, I'm very very into it. So one of the things is like now we see these scientists talking about human superpower, yeah, that we can, and I really do believe that, you know. I don't know about you, but I do believe that we have more power than, you know, it's proved scientifically that we only use what it is it 10% of the brain? Voila, you know, that's already, and apparently, you know, the majority of the computing is done on the subconscious, right? Which means, you know, a lot of shit happening there. Whoever took psychedelic knows that there is a lot happening down there, right? And so yeah, uh, and then this for me was really cool. And then I was thinking about this bully stuff, you know, not sure if that's part of it, if the, because it's hard for me sometimes to speak about these things because, right, I kind of believe in the simulation, right? So I kind of think we are in a simulated world. I do believe that there is a massive computing. Maybe I think that maybe even something like Deepak Chopra says that consciousness is not like it's a computer, it's just like, let's call it an invisible computer, you know, like information that is maintained inside the atmosphere, like in a bubble, let's call it as well. And then inside they interact by themselves, you know, because we've seen that in sci-fi movies already, remember? I don't remember the name, but they are there, you know, like, and nowadays also you can do research and you have information on literally on your hand, you know. So yeah, and then this stuff happened right after, and then all this stuff after about the guy with the food, the guy coming to say that I wanted to pray for me, and this and this video it leads to then the wounded healer that I have already spoken about here, that I really think that I can, because you know I have been learning a lot through CBT. And again, you know, I have dropped drugs, alcohol, and you know, still working on others. Sugar, you know, as I have mentioned here already, I'm mostly on honey, but I still sometimes, you know, if I can get a fucking chocolate bar or whatever. I'm away from ice cream though. Ice cream is fucking, you know, if I have a pot of ice cream, it goes in Monday. Then. So but yeah, it's, you know, it was very intense day though. You know, I don't go out from the studio very often. You know, normally just if I have a doctor or interpreting, sometimes I do some assignments. Mainly nowadays I do online as well, but sometimes I go to places. But so today I went to central London as well, which was kind of a challenge for me. You know, with my little phobia, kind of. You know, I was a bit apprehensive, but yeah, it was a ride at the end of the day. Just let me put that word here. And so, yeah, very intense day with a lot of experiences. Seeing a mate from childhood, which was really good. I may see them on the weekend once again, I think. And but yeah, the core of this video, I think it was for me to talk about these, that you know, sometimes we do things, we say things, and we don't know how that's going to be perceived, you know, and that can cause you trouble without you. But yeah, I must say that, okay, back in those days, bullying, it was a way of having fun, you know. So we did that. It wasn't offensive, you know. It was, That's what everybody, we used to call people by their flaw, by their sometimes disability, or if they had like a different finger or a bigger ear or something, they would call our attention. Boom. Back in the day, used to be with nicknames, used to be the worse the better. So, and that was just the way it is. Fuck, my lower back, man, it's really hurting. Oh man. But yeah, so but then again, it was really all after when I went to get a burger, and then I was already thinking about that because I did this summary when before I left the house. I came up to this video when I was doing some research, and then I said, okay, I left on the side, and then I watched the video. It's a 49-minute video. It's just one of those bot summaries, but then through that I went to the source, and then I got all these concepts that that Young had. For example, I had this one on burden of pain, the meaning of neurosis. Young viewed neurosis, mental distress or suffering, not as a disease to be cured, but as a psyche. He believed suffering had a theological purpose. It was trying to push the individual toward a new level of consciousness or adaptation. And then, quote, neurosis is always a substitute for legitimate suffering, quote, Carl Jung. A lot of things that he says, I get it, but again, because of my simulation beliefs, I kind of, at the end of the day, gets to a point that I think like nothing really matters. Anyone can see. Nothing really matters. Everything is just result of if clauses. That's it. There's nothing else. There's no purpose on. I think what I think sometimes about this is that what I try to take it out is understand more like how the brain works and how people react, behavior, yeah. And the more I go on this topic, the more I see that, man, it's just like you make choices every day, like, I go to a coffee shop, and what am I gonna have? Most people have always the same, you know. But this is what always happen. You always have the choice every day to get a different latte or a different coffee or whatever, but you do your choice, isn't it? Therefore, nothing of this really matters. That it gets to a point to me that sometimes I think, man, this is just to fill up sausages, like I say, like it's just to keep us entertained, maybe. Because at the end of the day, you know, I could have gotten these from there now, but I could have also not. That was unpredicted, or it was not. It was not because it's there. So I think that even that possibility was calculated already. Yeah. Oh fuck! I better stop. Hey. But yeah. So sometimes I think I like to see these psychological theories and try to understand. As I said, I have learned a lot with CBT. I can already, get the times that my mom used to beat me, for example, and I already see that as a positive thing because not only taught me to be tough, but also made me want to leave her house and made me, travel the world. If she was nicer and never did that to me, perhaps I would have never left her house and I would be working there with the family business in South Brazil. So through CBT, I saw the good in the bad. And that's, I sent a letter, a hand letter to my mom and to my uncle as well, and to other individuals that I believed I need to apologize to what I have done while they were doing good to me. This is why stop drinking does to you. It makes you realize things and how stupid you were when you did, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a matter of seeing, like, are you capable of recognizing that and changing and doing that what I did, like go there, apologize, or send an email or letter. I did that to everybody that I thought, and there are still people on the list, and I'm doing that. It's just to clear my mind, though. Just because what's matter is now, and now I think differently. I wouldn't do things that I did before, and the least I can do is try to apologize. And I have been trying to, I said I still have a long list though, but I'm doing my steps. But yeah, again, you see, these that I am doing, it's already something created in my little database to keep me occupied, because I know that their database cares for that. So I have to react accordingly. And that's what it is. It's literally if clauses everywhere. If I do this, this happen. If I do this, that happen. If I do this, that happen. If I do this, that happen. And we are like, fucking flying in the galaxy, and we are just a little bubble that. I don't believe we are stopped. I believe we are fucking falling. We are in movement somewhere. Fucking, let's finish with that. Please let me know. We are 811 people. Fucking thank you very much, guys. Let me know. Say anything that you think about that. I know it's a bit crazy-ish for a Thursday 1 a.m., but yeah, I got kind of a sparkle of adrenaline with, seeing my mate, and then he gave me the phone, and then I spoke to another mate, Alinho Shadrach. I think Alinho even subscribed to my channel, so happy days, brother. And yeah, so let's talk about this one. Does it any matter? Again, I have a few videos with this. Does it matter? Again, when Young talks about one's going through addiction and having to suffer to go to get somewhere, to go through some tests, let's say, yeah. But again, let's then see. Let's imagine the scenario that this is what the players see. Yeah, this is inside the game, right? We have all these worries, and we have our job, we have our obligations, and my favorite color is red, and I like to eat this, and we have our database, yeah, and our things to do, what we like or what we think we must do, because that's what is expected from us, eh? I know. And then what I'm talking about, it would be the coder point of view, not the gamer, not the player, but the coder. It's like, what can we do in that to entertain them? Because that's what scientists do when they have bored rats, yeah. They get the rats and they were like, they are too peaceful there. Let's do something, eh? Give that some coke, give that some LSD. Let's see how they react, right? So voila, same. It makes a lot of sense to me and gives a lot of a relief, doesn't it? Fucking hell. Oh, not as much to me because again, this back pain I think is here. I'm trying to work on that. At the moment, it's on the back. But again, this is all database. It's all information gathered and kept together in a reaction of an entity, which are us, the avatars. But then, okay, I don't want to be snobby, but why do I believe I could be a wounded healer? Because I have suffered a lot through relationships and family, friends, and marriages and whatnot. I have been addicted, highly addicted, heavily addicted to coke mainly and weed and alcohol a lot. Coke and alcohol were my favorites. Ecstasy and LSD we couldn't call addiction, but it had a pattern as well. Yeah, every week at least 2-3 times we would have it at the highest points of At one point we would just crush it and snore it anyway. So. But yeah, so I've been through that and I managed to get out of it all by myself. All by myself. I wish I can get the patience because I can't really stay too long on the editing. That's why my editing is really shite. But I could do some nice editing in the future. So where was I? Right. So this is what keeps the character busy. And then I believe I can be a wounded healer because then let's say I may have some admin how do you call it? Admin authorizations. Sorry, I backed. Yeah, I may have some, admin powers, like some boxes that are ticked that I can do some things in the game, not only play. And many other people I think have there. I think that as long as you wake up and you could start to, I don't mean I see everything ones and zeros. I wish fucking I. But no, I don't. But you can imagine already that being ones and zeros, not that you see as ones and zeros, but right. I think how long are we? Half an hour. Fuck my eyes, man. I need a better glass, but it's too expensive. And now I'm saving money because I'm putting a lot of money on the ads again for my English method that I am going to Oxford next week to present to the linguistic department to ask for their approval or their opinion over and give more credibility to the method that my master is also very happy that I am doing all that. So happy days. Okay, again, things you do here for the sake of it because that's the game. If you enter, I don't know, GTA, you know what you have to do there. You can do basically everything there, can't you? I never played. I just heard about it. But and then, for example, let's say you go to a FIFA game, you are expected to play football. Yeah, you're not gonna be running there and hitting people in the face. Although some people do that for fun, they do little dances and all. But that's exactly it. Then you are inside the game playing something that doesn't belong there, which is not expected. But even that is already calculated because the person is allowed to do in the game. Same. Right, let's finish here. Please let me know. Tell me what you know about it and let me see if it makes sense, if it clarifies a little bit my point of view. See you soon.